welcome back. So, Trevor Noah Joy in the Trenches Netflix review. Trevor Noah's new Netflix special, Joy in the Trenches, is funny enough, but it also feels like it's playing it a bit too safe in a time when comedy is constantly claiming it's under threat. For years now, there's been this loud argument, mostly from conservative corners, that wokeness is killing comedy. The idea is simple: comedians can't say what they really think anymore. Political correctness is suffocating humor, and because of that, comedy is dying. That narrative has been repeated so often that it almost become cultural background noise. But the reality, free speech hasn't exactly expanded into some golden age of unfiltered expression. If anything, the pressure has just shifted forms. Online backlash, cancellation fear, and real world consequences that make everyone, regardless of ideology, a bit more cautious than they admit. And that cautiousness is exactly what Joy in the Trenches feels shaped by. The special, directed by David Paul Mayer, is split into few familiar lanes: Trump jokes, reflection on black history, gallows humor, and Noah's own self-awareness about how he processes the world. The Trump material is the most predictable part. He leans into familiar beats. Trump is bad, he's absurd, he's basically a punchline machine. It gets laughed, but it also feels like recycled territory we have been circling since 2016. Then Noah moves into black history and broader social commentary, and that's where things become more interesting, but also more restrained than expected. There's this underlying question hanging over the set: is this really all we are saying now? Just safer, softened versions of commentary that once felt sharper. Noah even somehow seems aware of this limitation. He reflects on historical figures who faced far harsher realities, people like Harriet Tubman and Martin Luther King Jr., and compares their moral clarity and courage to the compromises of modern public figures, including himself. It becomes less about jokes and more about this quiet self examination. Am I doing enough or just enough to stay comfortable? That tension fills into the broader theme of modern comedy. Gallows humor is everywhere now, but a lot of it feels disconnected from both the audience and reality itself. Right wing comics still lean on owning the lubs as if it's 2018. Meanwhile, left-leaning comics often feel so afraid of crossing the line that the edge is gone entirely. Noah sits somewhere in between, but the result is a set that sometimes feels like it's obvious, observing chaos from behind glass rather than stepping into it. There are moments that do land, especially when he moves away from politics and into more personal material. A bit about his ex-girlfriend, for example, actually feels more alive than most of the political commentary. It's sharper, more human, and less weighted down by expectation. And maybe that's the core issue here. In trying to navigate a world obsessed with what can and can't be said, comedy like this often ends up scouting careful rather than fearless. Not because the comedian lacks ideas, but because everything around them encourages restraint. So, does Joy in the Trenches work? Partially, it's entertaining, it has its moment, but it rarely feels like it's pushing as far as it could. If anything, it reinforces a bigger question about modern stand up. Are we still laughing freely or just safely? Either way, if you're curious, it's worth a watch. But if you want something that feels more sharp and unpredictable, you might be better off looking at other recent specials pushing harder in different directions. Thank you for watching. Bye.